Dux Eik here. I'm going to do a brief video today on wrap cutting and the four basic different types of wraps that I use, some more than others. So here we go. So when using the wrap to deliver a cutting stripe to an opponent, we want to remember that in my school I like to have wraps utilized by my students after they've been fighting at least a year. And the reason for that is the development of their upper body and getting your joints and tendons used to the cutting trauma that can happen to your body just from using it in a way that you've never really used it before, meaning sword striking. And also because any kind of a wrap where you've thrown and it gets your shoulder or your hand above your shoulder line, you start to disconnect or start to open up that joint of the shoulder, and it's not made to do that and have power generated through it. So we can hurt our shoulders if we do too many wraps or if we do them wrong. So anyway, four different types of wraps. There's what I call a leading wrap, which is very much the same range as a leading head cut. So do a head cut, right? That's why with my extension, I'm here. The sword, when I cut, as naturally my hand is past the target a little bit, this would be hitting somebody in the leading side of their head, and the sword is in a position that sometimes makes it easier to block because it's all the way over here before it lands. The leading wrap comes in here and rotates through and hits that way. So now this sword angle is a lot farther away from anything that's trying to move to interact with it to make a block or a parry. Okay, so leading wrap is here. Okay, see how it hits with a lot of power. Okay. My shoulder, my hand is pretty much the same level as my shoulder. It can pop up a little higher, but to get that range so that I'm able to hit at a normal B range, it's here. Okay, leading wrap. Really effective, kind of sometimes can catch an opponent off guard because they see a head cut coming, so they naturally go to this block with the heater to make that block, and the sword is actually now here instead of here. Hope that makes sense. A range or closer wrap, I'm going to be in about here. So, I've done whatever, I've stepped in, and then the wrap is here, where the hand is generally not quite behind the line of their shoulders, but almost, right? So in here. And then, so that's just standard wrap. So we have leading wrap, standard wrap, what I call a deep wrap, which now is I've either stepped or I'm really close pressing, so that in either one of those, the deep wrap is my hand, the position of my hand is past the center line, or that line of their shoulders, as they describe a line from point A to point B on the shoulders. Okay, so deep wrap is in here or step. Okay, and then the final one is, of course, the vaunted scorpion. I only throw scorpions against legged opponents, because the scorpion is the one where you can generally very quickly and very unfortunately start to hurt your shoulder joint, because the scorpion, as most of us know, is you throw it real high and then it wraps around and comes in that angle here. So it can be really effective because it's really hard to block, and it also catches your opponent in a line which is different to the block that they're used to on a wrap. A lot of guys wrap like this, block wraps like this, right? Which is a great block. But if my angle isn't here, right? Coming in this way on that block. It's more this way. I can catch an angle that misses that sword block. But again, I only use those, and frankly, rarely against a legged opponent. And when I do, I'm usually aiming for kind of the cross across here on their back, as opposed to up in here. Because see how high my hand still has to be? The difference of the two? Hope you can see that in the video. But anyway, so we've got leading wrap, we've got wrap, we've got deep wrap, and we've got scorpion. Okay? As you notice, I haven't even thrown the scorpion hard in this video because my opponent, Mr. Pell here, is standing. So there you have it. That's the vocabulary that I use to define the 4 different varieties of wraps. And as you've observed, I haven't tried to teach any of those. This isn't about teaching how to deliver those wrap cuts and how to execute them properly. It's all about just describing the vocabulary on how I define the different versions.